One of the most common criticisms of Bitcoin is that it has no real use case. Someone even commented on one of my videos recently, quote, "Good luck trying to buy a loaf of bread with Bitcoin." So in this video, I'm going to first outline exactly why and how Bitcoin functions as money and how that's evolving, why using your Bitcoin is not necessarily the same thing as spending it, and the main options that you have for transacting with Bitcoin. There are pros and cons for each of the options that I'm going to explore, so you can learn which one might suit you best and when to utilize it. So first up, what is money? Classical economists like Adam Smith described money as having three main functions. It's a store of value, it's a medium of exchange, and it's a unit of account. A store of value means that money holds its worth over time. Fiat currencies fail badly here. Inflation eats them away constantly, which is why people rush to exchange cash for assets like property and stocks. A medium of exchange means money is used for transactions or the trade of goods and services. The US dollar, for example, does this well because it's accepted almost everywhere. And a unit of account means that goods and services are priced in that currency. Today, everything around us is denominated in fiat, so the dollar, pound, or euro is most likely your only unit of account. So how does Bitcoin compare to the dollar? As a store of value, it's excellent. That's why it's often referred to as digital gold. As a medium of exchange, it's just starting to gain ground. And as a unit of account, it's not there yet. We still value almost everything in fiat currency. When people talk about using Bitcoin, they usually mean spending it. But that misses its other functions. Remember, one of the primary functions of money is as a store of value. And by holding Bitcoin, you are already using it. Fiat has trained us to think that money should always be spent because holding it is a losing game. But with Bitcoin, holding it is very much active usage. Now, what about those real-world transactions? How do you actually pay for things with Bitcoin? There are three main ways: on-chain payments, custodial debit cards that convert your Bitcoin into fiat, and the Lightning Network. On-chain transactions are the original method. Every transaction is settled on the Bitcoin blockchain. They're secure and final, making them great for bigger purchases. Think of an on-chain transaction like a Swift wire transfer. But they're also slow and costly, which makes them impractical for small everyday items. Imagine paying for a $5 coffee and having to wait 10 minutes while the confirmation clears. On top of that, the fee might be higher than the price of the coffee itself. That's why on-chain is better suited to large transactions like buying a car or moving Bitcoin into cold storage. Before I go any further, if you are finding this video helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to turn on the notifications bell so you will be alerted whenever I drop a new video. And up in the top right-hand corner, you'll see a QR code. That's for my Lightning wallet. So if you are already using the Lightning Network, feel free to send me a small tip. The second option is using a custodial debit card. I have one myself through Bybit that connects to Apple Pay. It's just like using any other card. You tap your phone and in seconds you're done. From the merchant's perspective, they're being paid in dollars or euros. Behind the scenes, my Bitcoin gets sold at the going rate and the fiat equivalent is sent to the vendor. This is simple and convenient, but it's important to remember that it isn't truly a Bitcoin payment. It's also custodial, meaning that I am trusting the exchange to hold a portion of my Bitcoin. I only keep a small amount there, enough for daily spending, but not so much that I'd lose sleep if something happened to the platform. Keep in mind that a conversion from Bitcoin back to fiat currency will attract fees charged by the exchange. In the case of Bybit, there is a conversion fee plus the spread, which is the difference between the buy and the sell price. And be aware that in many countries, this kind of spending counts as the disposal of an asset, which can trigger capital gains tax. So it's not for everyone. The third option for paying with your Bitcoin, and the one that we're most interested in here, is the Lightning Network. This is Bitcoin's Layer 2 payment system, and it makes Bitcoin usable for everyday spending. Lightning works a bit like Visa or MasterCard layered on top of your bank account. It handles fast, small transactions off-chain, then settles them in bulk later. With Lightning, you can pay instantly and at almost no cost, even for very small purchases. I can open a Lightning wallet on my phone, scan a merchant's QR code and send sats in seconds for a fraction of a cent. There's no KYC, there's no waiting for confirmation, and no relying on an exchange if I choose a self-custody wallet. It's not perfect. Large payments can sometimes fail due to liquidity limitations, and not all vendors accept it, but it's by far the most promising option for everyday Bitcoin payments. In fact, Lightning payments are growing in popularity, especially in places where government-issued money is hyperinflating or people are totally locked out of the banking system. All they need is a phone and an internet connection. If you want to see the Lightning Network working in real life in one of the poorest places on Earth, I highly recommend that you watch Joe Nakamoto's latest video. I've linked it in the comments. So personally, I use all three methods to spend my Bitcoin depending on the situation. For large items like my Start9 server, which I recently purchased, I pay directly on-chain with my Bitcoin. For tips and small payments, I use Lightning, though merchants near me rarely accept it as a means of payment at this point in time. And for day-to-day purchases like groceries, flights, or restaurants, with vendors that do not accept Bitcoin, I often use my Bitcoin debit card as a quick off-ramp. So where does that leave us? The US dollar is a great medium of exchange and unit of account, but a terrible store of value. And unfortunately, when money fails as a store of value, it will also fail as a medium of exchange and a unit of account eventually. Bitcoin is already an excellent store of value, and it's emerging as a medium of exchange, especially with the help of Layer 2 solutions like Lightning. And in the future, when it's widely accepted as a medium of exchange, the next logical step is for Bitcoin to become a unit of account. So back to my viewer and the loaf of bread comment. Yes, you can buy a loaf of bread with Bitcoin. Whether it's a workable solution just depends on which method you choose. On-chain works for big purchases. Debit cards offer an easy bridge to the fiat system, but they aren't truly Bitcoin payments. Lightning, on the other hand, is like the best of both worlds for smaller, instantaneous transactions. In part 2 of this series, I'll be explaining the Lightning Network in simple terms and showing you how to make a payment using a couple of different wallets. And I'm genuinely curious, where you live, do local merchants accept Bitcoin? Let me know in the comments. And if this video helped you understand how Bitcoin can be used, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. See you in the next video.